So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how we got over 9,000 leads using AI for one of our clients' businesses. And not only that, but it's the same exact method that we use as well as all of our other clients too. The crazy thing is we've never had to send any cold DMs, never have to do cold email, and have never had to do any cold calls, any type of outreach like that. And you shouldn't have to either. So what I've done is I've broken this video down into 4 step-by-step parts that you can actually follow to use AI to set up your offer that prints and calls out your ideal client profile so you can actually get qualified leads. So number 1, we'll go over how to use AI to create your killer offer, what a killer offer actually looks like, and then 5 things to double check your offer. Number 2 will be how to use AI to create all of your ad copy for you so that when you go and set up your ad, it's as easy as copy and pasting. And then number 3, you'll be able to copy all of my AI prompts that I use to generate creatives that are catered towards your ideal client profile without needing to hire a graphic designer or someone from Fiverr, Upwork, or any other freelancer. And lastly, for number 4, I'm going to give you a live walkthrough of me setting that ad up in Ads Manager, right? All the buttons that I press, all the settings that I chose, why I'm selecting those, that we have full clarity on the process from A to Z. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So just for proof, here's some snapshots from our client's Ads Manager. And so as you can see here, clients leads, a total of 9,332 leads, right? While maintaining a $3 cost per lead, which is insane. You're probably asking yourself how. Well, first off, I want you to forget everything that you've learned about meta ads, because with the new Andromeda update, there's a brand new Andromeda method that I'm going to be teaching you here. So get ready. So step 1 is going to be to create your offer again using AI. So in this case, ChatGPT will do. And you're going to want to copy this prompt here, right? So create me an irresistible offer for my meta ad. My target audience is X and my service product is Y. Buyer through Z. And I'll just give you an example of this, right? Plug in your own niche, plug in your own industry. But as you can see here, create me an irresistible offer for my meta ad. My target audience is realtors. This is the example that we use in this video. And my service is coaching to get them more clients through lead gen, sales processes, and automated systems. So let's see what that looks like. If you did this right, you should get a response, something along the lines of this, right? So 3 signed clients guaranteed, or you don't pay, a couple other variations of that. Now, there's something very important I want you to understand as far as this. Don't sell them what they think they want. Sell them what they actually want and what they actually need. Now, what do I mean by this? This is really important. So when you address your market and you're running an offer towards them, probably a least sophisticated market you'll see a lot of people start running this type of offer with is like leads, right? We'll go ahead and generate you leads. And so 50 leads guaranteed, 100 leads guaranteed, 200, whatever the amount is there. Now, the problem with this is as your market gets sophisticated, as they maybe have worked with a company that did this for them, is they actually made no money from it, right? Because those leads didn't turn into appointments. And so as they became smarter, they stopped falling for, leads guaranteed offers. Then comes appointment offers. And so now you have your 20 appointments in 60 days, which is a bit better, but it's still not what they need. It's still not what they actually want, right? Because what happens is they had 20 appointments, but none of them actually showed up, or hardly any of them actually showed up. And so now you have 10 shown appointments in 60 days, or you don't pay. Getting there, but still, out of those 10 shown appointments, how many of them actually closed? How many of them actually signed? What they really want here in this scenario or in this example is signed clients, right? And so that's what we want to give them, the outcome that they're actually looking for. Now, I'll just give you an example of this so we're on the same page here. It's kind of like take your average gym goer that's just getting started, right? They start off and they have this idea, I want a workout routine, maybe a meal plan, a certain diet. That goes well for them. Maybe they see a little bit of progress, but they're still not happy with the results. So then they develop this idea that they want better equipment and they think that's what's going to solve for them. I think that's what they want. Maybe a better gym or maybe specific machines that are going to help them grow their muscle and lose that fat. But the thing is, what they really want is their dream physique. Someone that's able to promise them that is always going to win because this is what they're actually looking for, right? Now, Here's kind of a ramped up version with this in mind is 3 signed clients in 60 days using the Realtor Reformation system we install into your business or you don't pay. Now, we're not going to put all of this on the ad here, but it will be used in the marketing. And so that's why it's important we have this settled here. Now, when it comes to double checking your offer, making sure that it's actually solid and it's actually going to make you money, there's 5 things that you want to look out for, right? And so the first one is your dream outcome. We already covered how that is 3 signed clients, whatever number, but actual clients that have closed. Next, well, let's skip to time, is in 60 days, right? You're giving them a realistic timeline, right? It's not something too quick where they don't believe it's possible, but it's also not something too long where they don't see the value in it. Then you have likelihood, right? And so this is the Realtor Reformation system, just something that's proven, something that shows that it's actually legit. You're not just pulling it out of thin air, but it's something that works, something that's been tested. Next is effort. And so this is as simple as saying we install it into your business, right? You don't have to clarify whether it's a do it yourself, whether it's a do it with you, or even if it's a done for you type offer. But something as simple as this just ease some of those nerves that they're not going to have to do it all themselves and we're installing it for them. Lastly is a risk reversal. And so what this looks like is a guarantee, or in this case, or you don't pay. Right. And this is important, right? It's not actually going to give them the certainty or take care of skepticism, but you have to keep in mind these people, they don't know you, they don't like you, and they don't trust you yet. So if we can help them, at least bring them into our funnel, at least give them some sort of certainty or take care of some of that skepticism, then when we get them in, we start hammering them with our content, we start nurturing them, right? And actually solving their problems before they show up to the sales call, then we've provided enough volume, we've pre-sold them, and we've earned their trust. And so that is step 1 and how you can actually create this offer using AI. Now, step 2 is now we have to create the copy for this offer and for our ad. So I want you to copy this prompt. And by the way, I actually put together a document with all of my prompts here. And so if you want that, I'm going to leave my Instagram in the description. You can shoot me a message, DM me over there, and I'll send you over the document. So it's as easy as just copying and pasting it. But this prompt here, you can see it says create the copy for this meta ad. Include the primary text, the headline, the description, and the call to action. All right, we'll get into what those are specifically. Those are what are going to be on the ad. And this is very important too, is make it copy and paste ready. Otherwise, you're probably going to get a bunch of emojis, a bunch of filler text in there. You want it as simple as possible. Don't make it hard for yourself. If you do this right, then you should get a response that looks something like this. So primary text, right? Here it is there, your headline, your description, and then finally your call to action, which is going to be learn more. Now that's pretty simple, pretty easy. Again, remember this, we're going to come back to this and use this when we hop in the ads manager later, right? But that brings us to step 3, creating the creatives, which again, you guessed it, we're going to use AI, we're going to use ChatGPT to help us with this. And so copy this prompt here, create a 1080 by 1080 ad creative using the offer we created. This is the dimensions we want to use. This is what works best for these types of ads. And you want to call out realtors, right? Go ahead and plug in your niche, add a click, learn more, call to action at the bottom. And then most importantly, tell it to make the creative very themed based off whatever that niche is, but keep it simple because simple will win for these types of ads. Again, if you do this right, then you should get a response of something like this. Nice, clean, simple. Again, this is AI creating this for you. So compared to maybe in the past, you would have to hire a freelancer, you'd have to hire a graphic designer. Maybe you know somebody, maybe you don't. This is completely free. It's done for you by AI. And so the way times have changed, obviously, it's helped us a lot here. It's helped us save money and save time. But here you have it, right? Realtors, boom, calls out your ideal client profile, your ICP there. You have your offer smack dab in the middle. And then you have your click, learn more, your call to action, so they know what the next step to take is if this applies to them and they're interested. Now, we're not going to stop there. The next thing you want to do is download that graphic or download that creative and pop it right back into the chat with ChatGPT. And you're going to tell it to recreate this creative, keep the same format, but use a new, unique theme. What that's going to do is you should get, again, the same exact format, same exact type of creative, but a brand new theme. This is important again because we're going to have to test these ads. Not every one of them is going to perform and make you as much money as you'd like, right? But some of them will. And so the more creatives that you have, it's kind of like the more chances is the more shots you can take. And Meta will do a very great job of putting the money towards the winning ads. And this is just 3 right here, but you're going to want to do 30 to 50 plus creatives. I know that sounds like a lot, but let me explain to you why so it all makes sense. So again, we're talking about the Meta update and why this is the new method to run ads and actually print with your ads here. In order to understand that though, we have to know what the old Meta was and what the new Meta was. And so if we look on the left at the old Meta, this is a perfect image, perfect illustration or example of what old Meta was like. Right. So it's like radar scanning a fixed area of the ocean, and it was very targeting focused. Right. So when we jump in Ads Manager, you'll see, but there's a lot of settings, there's a lot of targeting options. And based off of those, you would kind of get your own pocket of your target audience that you would find. The problem with this is you make good money, it works, right? With this, you'll eventually run that pocket dry while there's still all these other potential clients floating around out here. So the old technique would be you would duplicate that ad set or that campaign to actually kind of reset it and maybe get a better cost per lead, get a better return on your ad spend, but then also tap into a new pocket that hasn't been touched yet. And not only that too, but the old Meta couldn't handle as many creatives. It couldn't test all of those different ads at once. But with the new Meta, it can. Because it's AI powered, AI driven, it has that power and that capability. And so now that's like a radar scanning everything, locking onto the exact signal or the exact ICP that you're looking for. And something you want to keep in mind is the creative is the targeting, right? And so you can tap into, regardless of any pocket, your exact ICP, the exact people who are going to buy from you and become your clients, the exact people who are going to pay you. And so the more creatives that you can have, again, the more shots that you can take, the more money that you can make, and the more clients that you can find, right? So again, you want to shoot for 30 to 50 plus creatives because not all of them are going to perform, but the winners will, and you're going to want to scale those. And that's where you're going to put your money towards. Now, step 4, this time we're not in ChatGPT, not in AI. We're actually going to use Meta Ads Manager now. But before we jump over there, let's cover a few fundamentals so we don't set our money on fire and wonder what we did wrong. So the goal here, again, is to keep your cost per lead low. You don't want to be paying crazy amounts of money for leads. You want to keep it as low as possible. And what that means is you want to start with 0 friction. You want to maximize your lead flow and optimize the sales process. Let me explain what I mean here. So think about it like this image here. You have your ad, right? And leads will start to pour in through your ad here. But every time you add a qualification here, a filter here, a disqualification here, right? Until finally you get some leads coming in. You've missed out on so many potential leads, potential clients here through all these filters and all this friction that you've added. Instead of trying to do that from your ad, this is where you have a dialed in, a cracked sales team, right? So let's say you have a locked in setter. These leads should be able to pour through. You're not spending money. You're not making your cost per lead skyrocket, but as these leads come in through, your sales team can filter them out and your sales team can disqualify them if they're not a good fit. This is what's going to keep you profitable, make the most out of your ad spend, and ultimately make you the most money rather than adding all this unnecessary friction here, all this sales resistance. And think about all the people when you ask, what's your credit score or how much money do you have to invest? All those people that you scare off by doing that. Don't do that. Save that for your setter, for that conversation where you can call them up on the phone, have a natural conversation and provide value and kind of earn that trust. So again, goal, right, is to get max lead flow at the beginning, max appointments, and max closes. Then only add friction after everything in your control is optimized. So after the ads are ripping, after your sales team is doing a great job, they're trained, they're familiar with the system and know how to qualify and disqualify people. Then if you're having a pattern of still unqualified leads, Only then can you add a little bit of friction, be a little bit more picky of your leads coming in, because you've already established who you're accepting and who you're turning away, who can afford your service, who's a good fit, and who isn't. Now, before we jump into the ads manager and tame that beast, what it looks like to actually set up that ad, if you're a coach, business owner, or growth operator, I'm going to leave a link down in the description where you can book a call with me and we could create a custom and tailored game plan for helping you make more money, for ripping your offer, whether it's the ads, whether it's the sales team getting that set up. Whatever kind of support that you need, that's exactly what me and my team do. Think of it kind of like a fast track or a shortcut to start ripping and making tons of money. But please only book if you're serious. Don't waste any of our time. Go check out our testimonial, see how we scaled Ryan to 15K in his first month ever coaching. And you can also just shoot me a DM on Instagram too, and we can set up a call through there. But without further ado, let's jump inside Ads Manager now. Cool, so now we're in Ads Manager. Let's go ahead and create a brand new campaign. You're going to want to leave it as auction type, and then we're going to want to choose leads. Don't worry about any of the other ones. Leads is going to be the best one, again, for cost per lead and what we're trying to accomplish here. So go ahead and hit continue. Once you do that, you'll see this here. I'm just going to name this something like example campaign for the sake of this video. And again, leave it as auction, leave it as leads. Don't worry about your campaign spending limit. When it comes to budget strategy though, you're going to want to choose campaign budget. This is where you can set your daily ad budget. So in this case, $20 a day. Don't worry about budget scheduling. Don't worry about A/B testing. Go ahead and keep that off. And don't worry about special ad categories as well, because again, these are settings where maybe in the past we may have used them, but now Meta, with its more powerful algorithm, the creative is going to do most of the targeting for us. So let's hit next. Now we're in the ad set level, and you're going to want to make sure it is selected as instant forms. Don't do website and instant, website and calls, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, any of these others, because again, they raise friction, right? We're sending them to another location, but if we do instant forms, we're going to be able to actually get their information, which is going to be name, phone number, and email, so that way we can actually reach out to them, get a hold of them if they are interested. From here, you would go ahead and select the Facebook page that you're running ads for. Now, a performance goal, we're going to want to keep as maximize number of leads, and don't worry, don't touch these other ones here. Dynamic creative though, we are going to want to turn this off. What this is another one of those settings where in the past we would have avoided it, we would have kept it off, but we're going to want to keep it on now because we want Meta to do its thing. And so what this is going to do, it's going to let Meta create combinations, which we'll see in a second here. But ultimately, Andromeda's algorithm will decide whether something is profitable or making more money or getting you better results or not. So give it that freedom. Next, you have your budget and schedule. So don't worry about a certain schedule. You can set your start date for when you're planning that, but don't worry about budget scheduling at all. Now, when it comes to audience controls, this is something we're going to want to touch. So if you're in the US, obviously target the US. If you're in Australia, UK, wherever you are, that's the type of location that you want to look for. The reason why is because sure, you can hire a sales team or you can be the one to contact these people in different locations, but usually time zone and other things will get in the way. It's a lot easier to stay and then scale to other areas later. If we show more options, you can keep the minimum age at 18, that's fine. And don't worry again as far as adding existing audiences, because we're going to find our own audience based off our creative. We'll continue to scroll down here. Don't worry about these ones here. Placements, we'll leave them as is. This is pretty much deciding where your ads are going to be shown. On Facebook, on Instagram, on the Reels tab, on the Explore page, all the different areas. But again, leave it up to Meta to do its thing, because it'll collect all that data, see wherever the placements are making you money, and show them there. Then we'll want to hit next. Now we're in the actual ad level. And so I don't have a Facebook page set up here for this, but you would see your Facebook and your Instagram. Now, partnership ad, go ahead and leave that off. You don't need that. When it comes to identity, this is where you're going to go ahead and select your Facebook page and your Instagram account if you're running to those. Ad setup, right? It says here that dynamic creative is enabled. We enabled that earlier. Leave it as single image or video and keep multi-advertiser ads on. With multi-advertiser ads on, maybe you've seen it, maybe you've not, but when you're scrolling and you see like a block of 4 ads together showing, again, it's an additional placement as an option where your ad can be shown or not. Just keep it on, because if it's making you money there, then don't limit it. Now, when we get to our ad creative, that's where you would go ahead and upload either your creative or maybe you made a video ad too. And so you can just drag and drop there. It'll go ahead and load. Takes a second. and then hit continue. Now you have that there. Simple, super easy. Leave on optimize creative for each person. Again, let Meta do its job. It's pretty good at finding the right people. How many times can you remember where you're talking about something and then a day later, or maybe even later that day, it pops up on your phone? Your phone's always listening to. It's true, right? It's collecting data from you, but it also means it's collecting data on everyone else, and it can find your ICP or the people that your ad is going to apply to. Next, you're going to add your primary text, your headline, your description, and then your call to action. Your call to action you want to choose as learn more, like we discussed earlier. And this is all the copy that we had from step 2. You're just copying that over. Nice, simple, and easy. And then last but not least, in the destination section on this page here, you're going to want to create your instant form. This is what's actually going to allow us to get their information so we can contact them. I made a draft here just to make it really easy. So if I pop this up here, you can go ahead and name your form. So I'm just going to name it test form in this case. You want to make sure that the form type is more volume. Again, we can fix the sales process, but we want to add as little friction as possible. We don't want to choke our lead flow at all. So keep as more volume. When you get to flexible form delivery, go ahead and keep that off. We do want to give Meta as much freedom as possible, but we don't want it to here adjust or remove those form elements because we need their information to actually reach out to them. Next is your intro. And so background image, that's optional. If you do use a background image, it'll go up here, kind of like a banner on the top. And what that's going to look like is I would suggest putting your offer again. And so in this case, if it was 3 clients in 60 days, right, or you don't pay, just make a graphic that says that one more time up there. But that's optional. As far as your greeting, just put something nice and simple like this. Hey there, with a little wave emoji. And when you go to the description, this is very important. Just type this, copy everything word for word here. You'll type fill in your info down below and we'll text you how this works. It's very important you say text how this works because a lot of people, they don't want their phone blowing up. They don't like telemarketers. Even I don't, like that. And so if they see an unfamiliar number, they're probably going to ghost you. They're probably not going to respond, and you don't want that. And so just to lower some of that sales resistance, or in this case, like that marketing resistance, you want to make sure that you say, we'll text you how this works, and we will text them later. We can give them a call. And so next, then we're going to the questions. Now, as I said before, the main goal here is to add as little friction as possible. And so you might not necessarily want to add any questions at the beginning. I don't recommend it. Only, again, add friction if you continue to see that maybe the quality is suffering or the quality is taking a hit. And so if we don't need to do that, then you can skip that for now. I'll come back to that and tell you when you would want to use it. But in the description, type again, just copy it over from your intro, fill in your info down below, and we'll text you how this works. And then put some sort of, down emoji to make it really easy, really simple for them. 3 things you're going to want: full name, email, and phone number, and put them in those orders, right? It's just very natural. That's what we see anytime we sign up for something is name, email, and phone number. So you want to make sure that it's in that order. Again, right now, back to the questions is you can add, in this case, these conditional logic questions. What that actually does is it'll give you multiple endings, right? So again, after your sales process is dialed in, after the setter and the closer are doing their job, everything is good on that side of things, and you're still running into an issue. Maybe you're getting too many broke people, or maybe it's people that aren't even your ICP. They're not actually, in this case, again, in this example, they're not actually even realtors who need your help, right? It's random people. This is where, if you're continuing to run into an issue like that, then you will add some friction. You'll add a filter there to in turn improve your lead quality. So maybe it's like, are you ICP, right? Or like in this case, are you a realtor, right? Question mark. And you can say on the top as an answer, yes. And if they say yes, and you redirect them and they can continue to go through your process and speak with you, or you can say no, and you can say, please exit, right? So that way they're not wasting your money, right? You're spending money on these ads. And so you don't want to continue to pay for leads that aren't actually converting or aren't actually potential closes, potential clients, right? That is an option. Again, only do that though after everything else is dialed in. Right, and so then you hit next. Here again, another optional thing is a privacy policy. If you do want to put a privacy policy, it is good to keep things nice, legal, and safe, right? Making sure that you're not getting flagged at all with Meta and avoiding those types of things. You can just go to, they have these privacy policy generators. So you can just search that on Google and they'll be able to make one there for you for your business. And if you do that, get rid of all this here, just type privacy policy so it's nice and clean. Right, next, last part is the ending. And so at this point, yes, they've submitted their contact information and we have that. But we want to give them an additional option to do what's called a direct booking, where they're booking in their call, right? They're on their calendar, on their schedule, they're booking into an appointment with you themselves. That's what you call direct booking. And it shows, think about it, it shows a level of intent, shows a level of seriousness. Because if someone's taking the additional step to book rather than just give you their information, chances are they're a lot more serious or have a higher intent when it comes to whatever you're selling. And so what that looks like is in the headline, put something like one more step so they know it's not done. You can make it clear to them as far as that. In the description, write something like this, right? Copy this word for word if you need to. Due to high demand, our spots are very limited. Book now. And what this will do is it will create a sense of urgency with them. So again, a more serious buyer in turn. Now, once you have that, your additional action, that's where you want to redirect them to your website. And so choose the go to website option. And then for the link, you'd go ahead and put them to your landing page. And so whatever landing page that you've built out for them for your business. And if you want to see another video on this as far as the sales journey that a lead goes through after submitting their info, after coming this and going through your landing page and all your videos and everything, leave a comment down below and I'll make that for you guys. But finally, once that's done, right, you want to make sure your call to action says book now too, since that's what you're directing them to do in your description, and you're good to go. You don't want to connect with leads in Messenger again. You're getting their info on the back end. You have all the automations firing off. You have all the workflows firing off inside of your internal CRM. And all that info is being sent directly and immediately automated to your sales team, sending messages and connecting with them in under 5 minutes. So from there, you'd hit publish and start printing money just like that. So I hope you guys got value from that. Those are the 4 steps that we use to get 9,000 leads using AI for our client while maintaining a $3 cost per lead. And if I'm being honest, sometimes even less. And it's the same thing that we use as well as all of our other clients. And so if that helped, go ahead and drop a like on this video and make sure to hit the subscribe button. And again, if you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll link it in the description below. And lastly, if you're wondering, once you have all these leads coming in, how do we actually convert them into appointments and close those deals? I'll go ahead and link a video right here that you can go ahead and tap on and give that a watch next. So that's a wrap. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Talk to you later.